On the battlefield, technology created moments that seemed almost unreal. American soldiers encountered German weapons that felt decades ahead of their time. Jet-powered aircraft, guided missiles, night vision devices, and assault rifles appeared years before most people think such technology existed. The German V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range ballistic missile, struck cities faster than the speed of sound. There was no warning, no defense, only sudden destruction. It shocked Allied scientists and forced the U.S. to rethink the future of warfare. On the battlefield, technology created moments that seemed almost unreal. American soldiers encountered German weapons that felt decades ahead of their time. Jet-powered aircraft, guided missiles, night vision devices, and assault rifles appeared years before most people think such technology existed. The German V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range ballistic missile, struck cities faster than the speed of sound. There was no warning, no defense, only sudden destruction. It shocked Allied scientists and forced the U.S. to rethink the future of warfare. Yet not all surprises came from machines. Human behavior under extreme pressure revealed both the worst and best sides of humanity. In the Pacific, American soldiers faced an enemy that rarely surrendered. Japanese military culture viewed surrender as dishonor, leading to brutal battles where fighting continued until one side was completely destroyed. For U.S. troops, this created psychological shock. Many soldiers later admitted that the constant fear and intensity changed them forever. At the same time, moments of unexpected humanity emerged. There were accounts of American medics treating wounded enemy soldiers, even while under fire. In Europe, some U.S. soldiers secretly shared food with starving German civilians, despite strict orders not to. These small acts did not change the course of the war, but they revealed something powerful. Even in total war, conscience did not completely disappear. One of the most disturbing surprises of World War II was the discovery of Nazi concentration camps. When American troops liberated places like Dachau and Buchenwald, many soldiers were so shocked by what they saw that discipline temporarily collapsed. Hardened combat veterans, men who had survived Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge, broke down in tears or rage. The scale of human suffering was beyond anything they had imagined. For many Americans back home, these images permanently changed how they viewed the war. It was no longer just about victory, it was about stopping absolute evil. Psychological warfare played a larger role than most people realize. Both sides used propaganda not only to influence civilians, but to break enemy morale. The U.S. dropped millions of leaflets over enemy territory, promising fair treatment to those who surrendered. In the Pacific, Japanese soldiers were warned that Americans would torture or kill them, making surrender unthinkable. When some finally did surrender and were treated humanely, it completely shattered what they had been taught to believe. Another astonishing aspect of World War II was how close the world came to disaster multiple times without knowing it. There were moments when a single decision, or even a misunderstanding, could have changed history forever. In 1943, a Soviet officer chose not to report a possible enemy attack that later turned out to be a false alarm. In 1945, poor weather nearly caused atomic bomb missions to be delayed, possibly changing diplomatic outcomes with the Soviet Union. These hidden moments remind us how fragile history truly is. American industry itself became a weapon, and its scale was almost unbelievable. Factories that once made cars and refrigerators were transformed into war production centers. At peak production, the U.S. was building a bomber every hour. Women entered the workforce in massive numbers, symbolized by Rosie the Riveter, forever changing American society. This was not just a military transformation, but a social revolution whose effects are still felt today. The end of the war did not bring instant peace. Many soldiers returned home carrying invisible wounds. What we now call PTSD was poorly understood, and countless veterans struggled in silence. The shocking truth is that for many, the war never truly ended. The memories followed them into civilian life, shaping families, communities, and even national identity. Perhaps the most surprising legacy of World War II is how it reshaped the modern world. The United States emerged as a global superpower almost overnight. The United Nations was created to prevent future global conflict. Former enemies became allies, while new tensions led directly into the Cold War. Technologies developed for destruction later powered space exploration, medicine, and global communication. World War II officially ended in September 1945. The conflict had claimed an estimated 70 to 85 million lives, including civilians, on an unprecedented scale. The United States emerged as a global superpower alongside the Soviet Union, shaping a new international order. Institutions like the United Nations were created to prevent future global wars, while the Cold War soon emerged from tensions between former allies. Pilots reported seeing bunkers remain visually intact for seconds after impact, then suddenly implode. The ground would sink. Concrete would fold inward. Entire underground facilities vanished beneath their own weight. Soldiers who once trusted bunkers as protection now feared them. Intelligence reports described enemy troops abandoning fortified positions, knowing that a direct hit meant certain death. The psychological impact was enormous. A structure meant to guarantee survival had become a coffin.